out here wrapping up some of his hay. I caught him yesterday going down the road, lucky me. So I asked him if he'd just swing in here and bale up this little bit of straw, and he said yes. So or a little bit of grass. So he's up here now doing that. Just left there. He wrapped us up those few bales that I cut. That was pretty nice of him. And we got a pretty good wind here, so my oats were a little dusty, so I figured today's a good day to haul them down and fill my feed bin, because when you're using the grain vac blows out a whole bunch of dust, and then the wind blows out the rest, so ends up working out to your favor. So I'm just gonna move the auger here now and unload this. I got a load already. So I just finished hauling down my first load of oats, but you know, I got to looking. So when you're there's a ton of adverse effects that can happen to growing crops, and then when it comes time to harvest, you know, if they get snowed under or if they get left out over winter, they become very difficult to salvage and very difficult to harvest. They often end up dirty. You can have animal feces in there. You can have all sorts of things. But I just want to shed some light on a grain vac. I've always said this. I mean, people that know me, we don't even have a bin loading auger anymore, like a 10-inch or an 8-inch. It doesn't even make sense on our farm to have one. We don't have a lot of hopper bins. We only have 2 little ones. But I'm pretty sure grain vacs, and especially the Rem grain vacs, are probably the greatest advancement in grain moving and loading technology ever. Like, they are incredible machines. So these are my oats that I was hauling. And these ones I combined in the spring. They're like, bushel weight is up. They weigh about 43 pounds per bushel, which is pretty good. The standard bushel weight of an oat is 34. In the fall, they weighed like 48, 50. It was just crazy. They'll lose bushel weight and quality over the winter, but they were quite dusty. So, you know, if we were just loading them just with an auger, all that dust would stay in there. I'm actually going to head up here now. I'm going to get another load because my bin's not quite full, and I'm going to show you. I'll film the grain vac loading these. Like, as you can see coming out, you know, they're I don't know, they actually look, I mean, oats are supposed to be white, but I mean, these are definitely stained, but they still look pretty good. So I'll show you that the magic of a Rem VRX grain vac. I'm running it slower to allow more time for the fan actually to pull the dust out. That grain vac would load this truck in a few minutes, like, I don't know, 3-4 minutes, if I ran it, if I put a steel hose on it and ran it full on. But like I said, I'm running it slow because I'm trying to remove as much dust as possible. Is it hard on the machine? Yeah, probably, but you know, what are your options? Like, you could run it slow through a cleaner, I guess, and clean it out that way. These Rem VRXs are extremely easy to work on, and you know, actually pretty cheap to maintain. They are, I wouldn't say they have the best longevity, but when you're moving, you know, 2,500, 2,000 bushels an hour, and you put several hundred hours on there, you got to factor in how much grain actually went through there, plus time savings. We've replaced the tubes on this. One was my fault, probably. I left the auger out when I drove it around and it crinkled the bottom one in the winter. Could have been getting thin too. So we did a couple tubes. We did a couple bearings that drive the drum, you know, and we did the flighting. So, I mean, these VRX grain vacs, when we bought them, I think they were around 25, 26,000. I heard now they're upwards of like 35, 40. That's kind of crazy. I'm not sure why the manufacturers need to do that. You know, just because the calendar rolls over another year you don't actually have to add $10,000 to the price of your machinery. You know, just have a look at commodity prices. You know, we don't add $1 or $2 a bushel every time the calendar runs its course for the year. So if they could stop doing that, that'd be a heck of a deal. But like I say, if you factor in actually how much grain it's moving, you know, it's probably per bushel, it's actually probably a pretty cheap thing to own. Other nice thing about it, you know, I know the augers have transports. This has a tractor, so you never get stuck in the ice or the ruts or nothing. You just drive up beside the bin, stick in the hose. So we got a couple things on the go here now. We're gonna put that power pole in. I just got it behind me there. I drilled the hole already. We're gonna put that in, and we're also trying to get these stupid horses and steers to go out and eat the grass up by the bins. We got that all electric fence, so, but they're too scared to leave here, so we'll see how that goes. Get her pull up. My wife's just going to tamp the dirt back around it. I'm trying to resurrect some of this old wiring that was here. They did kind of a good job, I guess you could say, for the time. They pretty much used every scrap piece of wire they could ever find, so it's all just whatever. Some's armored, some's not. Just kind of whatever they found. You know, random breakers that just sort of fit in there. So there's a little bit, and I'm not an electrician, so definitely a little bit of thinking. But when we did dig power in here a couple of years ago, and I left it long enough, I remember now. So the power is going to come out of the ground and it's going to meet up at the top of the roof, because I put 240 to here now instead of just 120. So should give us lots of power for the chicken coop and for these barns, and hopefully we get pigs at some point. So we should have lots of power, as long as I can get my my brain wrapped around what I had thought I was going to do.